The Integrity Ignite Series has once again returned to the landlocked states here in America. And there's one favorite track that we visited many a time before. Often, this track tests who has it and who doesn't when it comes to our 1.5 mile circuit. It might not be the best known, it might not be the most active in the real world, but when it comes to coming alive when it matters most, Sparta, Kentucky is the place to be. Welcome back live on FTN Broadcasting to coverage of the Integrity Ignite Series. And with our 6th race of 2025, this is the Kentucky Speedway. Welcome back, of course, to FTN. Tonight, I'll be your host. I'm David Kreutz, commentating and producing. 4 minutes left on the qualifying chart, and they're ticking down as we speak. We got a field of about 50 drivers. That's about par for the course so far this season, with DJ Stagner holding the provisional pole, and he just got usurped by Chad Mikas and Ethan Lane. So rest assured, times are still coming in, and qualifying is intense as we take a look downstairs now to the who's who of our field. And of course, Ethan Lane still looking for what could be his very first of the season in the Ignite Series anyway. Finally found victory in the Octane Series. There's Lane for a brief moment. Thomas Bressi now on the way in the number 24. And you've also got Matt Press and Michael Araya. Drivers right now getting into pit road once again. Adam Wood also on the circuit. Wood just got up to 17th. So Adam looking strong right now in a field of just about 50 drivers to start that high up. It'll be a big accomplishment now for the 45 crew. Casey Shue getting up to 19th himself. Thomas Bressi going 7th as he comes across the line for his second and final lap. And now Brian McFerrin on the way in the number 7. Blake Cannon now holding the provisional pole. Cannon with 2 victories so far this season. And so as the 27 heads to pit road, not much of a surprise that Blake again is at the head of the pack. McFerrin into pit road as well. Matthew Thunhorst in the number 8 getting on the way. 3rd lap for Matthew, which means his 2 timed runs have already come to a close. The number 8 now finding himself just outside of the top 20. 10th spot is going to be Elliot Henderson. Matthew Thunhorst 11th. Sam Nieto is now P12. Looks like Sam going to get slowed down going to the inside. Cody Smith is going to be 14th place now, the Next Level Racing Chevrolet. And it looks like he's gotten his laps through. He'll be starting in the top 15. Smith is a very strong finisher at Kentucky. Historically speaking, he's gotten the job done here before in the Octane Series as a playoff spoiler. And we came here amid the dominance of Alec Daffin in 2023 as he was able to take home his first championship in the Ignite Series. Daffin has not returned since, but this proved to be the track that really differentiated whether or not he had it or if he didn't. Ronnie Osmer, top 10 of the championship standings as an early rookie in the fight, but it looks like currently struggling in qualifying. 38th place on that first lap. His second one gonna matter the most. Juice rooting for our defending winner in Hunter Matilinas. Watch out for Hunter tonight. 8th place on the qualifying grid for the man who got the job done at the Roval. And of course, he's looking to do so again. Ronnie Osmer jumps to 27th. Chris DeWeese also joined in the chat room. Thank you for stopping by. We are about to get started. And your defending champion in the number 1, qualifying 30th on the dot. Qualifying has concluded. Blake Cannon with a 29.83 will grab the pole position. Not a surprise to see Blake back in front, but from outside the top 30 in points, Chad Mikas crawls into this race as a qualifier from the last chance bracket and will start 2nd today. A remarkable qualifying effort for the 25, and he needs it. We'll touch up more on that story as the night goes on. But it appears now your field is all but fully ready to go racing again in Kentucky. We visit this track once a year in the Ignite Series, and it's fitting that this time around we take our trip to Kentucky early. A lot of great brand new schedules, of course, and great tracks on these new schedules, but we're going to keep things simple and keep things familiar tonight with a big field on hand. Qualifying has more than 50 drivers, and it's another stacked and packed house at the Kentucky Speedway. Blake Cannon, your two-time winner this season, has the pole position. Micus will fight off the troubles of not being locked into the race today and makes his way up to second in qualifying, with Ethan Lane then going third, your defending Octane Series winner. Jake Miller's a rookie to look out for. He's making his first run on a mile-and-a-half circuit in his Integrity Racing League career. Miller will start fourth, with former champion DJ Stagner fifth and Jared Davis then in sixth place. Seventh place will go immediately thereafter, of course. That's going to be Rob Ackley's number 22. Hunter Matulinas is going to be eighth. Thomas Bressy will be then ninth, and Brian McFerrin will round out the top 10, with Michael Stroll and Elliot Henderson going 11th and 12th. Matthew Thunhorst will be 13th, and Sam Nieto will start 14th place, with Jack Drucker, your Daytona winner, and Jacob Fife 15th and 16th. For the number 18, it's a 17th place start for the Cody Smith crew. Nicholas Ward goes 18th, and to round out the top 20, it'll be Brent McClendon and Kyle Cooper. Ryan Potter, Matt Press, Vinny Tigner, Michael Araya, and Casey Shue for the top 25. Adam Wood, Ronnie Osmer, Justin Morton, Galen Gidman, and Braxton DeWeese for the top 30. For the top 35, you'll have Seb Miller, Will Riker, Blake Gordon, Daco Parka, and Ryan Vaughn in the 28. Then you'll have from 40th, Joe Dinsmore, of course, is going to be the 36 man. And then you'll have Gael Brooks, Boomer Logan, Brandon Bernhardt, and Daniel Foss, P40. For the top 45, it's 41st in Steve Durham, 42nd in Gavin Fitzgerald, 43rd place in Andrew Hamilton, Cal Filarski in 44th. There's Josh Gallagher, P45. For the top 50, you'll have Paul Mikolajczyk and Nick Tarbuck, Don Runkle, and then 49th place, that'll be the man in the 47, Don Stevenson. Tyler Hensley tonight, 50th and last on your starting grid. It's the smallest field of the season, and it's still 50 drivers strong. Welcome back to the Ignite Series. We are ready to go green in just 5 minutes' time from Kentucky. Emphasis on the amazing size of these fields this season, and also the amazing quality of racing we've had with them. Getting pretty dim here in Kentucky. The lights appear to be on, but you can see now it's getting rather dark. Now, usually by this point in the sunset, the lights really kick in well. Maybe it's just going to take a little while longer before the stadium lights come to fruition, but it's rather dark right now for the drivers, but it looks like we're heading toward what could be a nighttime race here in Sparta. There's Blake Cannon heading down and in. You can see the lights are clearly on down on pit road, but the racing circuit is where things are a little dimmer. Don't expect that to be a major concern or cause for concern all night long. We'll let those lights do their thing as the sun eventually fades into the background. Joe Dinsmore, the number 95, currently finds himself 8th place in this practice session. But as you can see, those are those familiar faces once again up in front. And who else but Blake Cannon to be the fastest driver so far in this practice session. It looks like as he was in qualifying, he will be now for today's race. Up to the point and looking to keep himself there. That's Cannon for P1, and Ackley right now again is strong for second in this warm-up session. Rob making his way down the back straightaway in the number 22. At Home Depot, Chevrolet is looking for a big victory. Hasn't seen victory lane since the end of 2023. Although he's gotten close, Domination Intimidation Racing, in a general sense, has taken a slight step back with regards to performance. While Nick Tarbuck has been able to scratch the podium a time or two, they haven't gotten to victory lane just yet, and they're looking to do so with a good run tonight. Blake Cannon will end your final practice session again on top. 29.856 is the quickest time he sets, and relative to qualifying, well, it looks like it was a 29.829 for that qualifying spot he took, about a tenth of a second quicker. Either way, Cannon still lines up front. Starting grid is coming together, and it will be led, of course, by the 27. DJ Stagner now also going to be up there. DJ is going to be qualified 5th today, which will continue a strong set of runs he's had overall on FTN. Last Thursday night, he seemed to be poised to win the Highline Racing League event, which we had at Bristol. 1 lap to go. He went side by side with Scott Zellner. The two hit each other and flew in opposite directions. That was game over, and eventually it was an underdog winner in Alan Cunman on the day, whereas Stagner led the majority of the race, and Zellner again got close to what could be his 20th career victory. Neither got the job done. So now, Blake Cannon is again the focus. He's looking for his 3rd victory in 4 races. Victory streak was cut off, of course, by the Charlotte Roval, but Blake still ran strong, and he's got the points lead coming into the night in a close fight with drivers such as the ever-consistent Thomas Bressi. Going to try to keep that number 27 on us tonight. Chad Mikus, whose qualifying efforts are looking to improve, definitely putting down a heater today to make it back in to the main field. The Exalta Chevrolet up top was not in the top 30 in points when tonight began, of course, and now he's got a perfect opportunity to flip the script and bring himself back in. Chad tonight with a qualification of 2nd place. It's his best start of the season, and if he gets himself a top 10 finish, it will very likely be his best run of the season. No promises, no guarantees. Mikus starts up top. Blake Cannon lies down low in his Toyota Supra. Ethan Lane and Jake Miller will follow suit on that 2nd row, and a stacked 2nd row at that. Miller making a strong impression in his opening races, including last week in the Roval, and Ethan Lane, he really doesn't need much of an introduction to show how great a driver he's always been. So he's going to look back to doing his own thing once more as the field gets set. Return to work. Cannon is coming off of a 4th place finish and 2 previous victories. His average finish in that time period, well, it's been pretty good. 2nd place exactly. It appears that all 50 drivers are with us, going back to your final driver in Tyler Hensley, who runs 50th, of course, today in the number 5. Hensley's going to be at the back end of the field, but a lot of room for improvement. We saw our last place driver last week able to make up more than 8 positions till the very end. So don't count down the guys in the back of the field. Just because qualification wasn't strong for them doesn't mean the night is over, and that's going to be a trend all throughout these races with these major car counts. The night is young for any driver, which means positives and negatives, no matter how you slice it. Blake Cannon, of course, now with the stadium lights really coming bright in Kentucky, is looking to bring things back to the positive side for the 27 team. 3rd victory in 4 races would be a massive accolade for the 27 crew. Chad Mikus is looking just to survive, and maybe tonight he could find his 2nd career win and his 1st of 2025. Cannon on the bottom, Mikus up top. A tale of 2 seasons so far, and their seasons, of course, now coming to a crossroads. Tonight, Kentucky will prove again who's got what it takes and who's got the muscle to fight for a championship and a consistent spot in the podium. Green flags out once again with Blake Cannon taking control of a 50-car field. Welcome back to the Bluegrass State, where green from Kentucky, the 27 of Cannon, leads us in a 1-2. Blake Cannon leads the way now, and in second place will be Ethan Lane in the number 6. Gap will be 0.3 of a second as they go through the opening lap and a half. Ethan jumping up to P2. Mike is dropping back a position. That's the 25 of Chad in the Domination Intimidation Racing Chevrolet. Although it looks like Cannon got away scot-free, it doesn't mean that it's going to be an easy night for him to keep that lead. It looks like running away and pushing a little bit harder to start. We'll see whether or not that backfires or if it will be better instead to wait things out as the night progresses. Mike is now ducking to the inside in 4th place here with some more pressure from rookies Jake Miller and Jared Davis. Davis having been with us since Daytona, he's gotten himself multiple podium finishes. He's the only driver who we have not spoken to so far in the broadcast booth. He's been a little bit of a mystery in that regard. That's the only problem about him winning. We wouldn't hear from him post-race. He has been quite the ghost outside of session time. He knows when the race starts, he gets into the race, he'll finish, and he's gone like that. And I think it's pretty fitting he runs that all-black number 19 every week because he really is a ghostly figure outside of the sim, at least to our knowledge. But he's running great again in 7th. And look who else is running great. Rob Ackley in the 22. 22, of course, that machine looking to prove that his performances in practice and qualifying were far from a fluke. And right now, he's entered the upper echelon rather strong. Let's see what else he can do from here in that Home Depot Chevrolet as he currently occupies a top 10 placement with his teammate a little bit further back, Michael Stroll in the number 3. The AC Delco Chevrolet runs tonight, of course, trying to keep his teammates up with him as they're looking again to make it higher and higher up the points ladder. Stroll is back for what could be a full end-to-end season for the number 3 team, which would be the first time in Michael's career that he would be able to make every race on the calendar. He had to miss out on the start of 2024 due to serious medical complications and had some personal time off in 2023, which he came back with a triumphant victory in Michigan in the summer of that year. Michael, however, has been with us since Daytona this time around. That's wonderful to see, but it hasn't been the strongest of starts yet. He's looking for that race to be a catalyst, the one race that will really get him moving. And once Michael Stroll gets at it, it's very hard to stop him. Domination Intimidation Racing's team leader has been on the sim now for more than 20 years, and he's approaching that 25 marker sooner than we know. Using that experience, getting up to the top side of Ethan Lane, they'll battle now for 6th place as Ethan drops back a little bit further once again. Blake Cannon does as well, and that gives DJ Stagner the advantage at the front of the field. The blackout number 64 is looking for perhaps some racing redemption. Cautions out. Back of the field, we have trouble, and it looks like now contact. Sam Nieto involved in this one. Bad news for Sam, and it looks like he goes from the mid-20s to the back of the field. Let's see if we can figure this one out. Nieto in trouble for your first caution of the day. 8 laps in. Take a look at this. Sam Nieto, the man of interest, and he was there in the mid-pack as he goes into turns 1 and 2. Contact from Kyle Cooper, that sends him up the track. Into Ryan Potter, and the caution comes out. He comes down the track again, makes more contact. Then you see him fade off the circuit for just a brief moment as he made contact with Ryan Potter there. And the number 38 of Daniel Foss also catches a piece there. So bad news for Daniel. It looks like he was trying to back himself up. Nieto looks like the motor is blown, so that's a race over for the number 2. If the smoke still billows, and Daniel Foss really doesn't fare all too much better. Cautions out involving Daniel Foss, Sam Nieto, and it looks like the rest of the field mostly getting away, although Ryan Potter with some substantial damage to repair as well. That's Ryan, the number 99. We're going to be looking at him right now, and as we get our eyes fixed on that 99 car, yeah, the front end is really gone. Steve Durham also caught a minor piece of the contact. He'll make it into the pit road for some extended repairs. Hopefully it isn't anything major. As we look up now to the front of the field where Chad Mikus lies. Mikus is now your race leader. It looks like DJ Stagner has instead decided to go down a pit road early. And with Micus doing so, the blackout number 64 will sacrifice his race lead. That will give the number 64 the opportunity now to use the new tire to carve through the pack. It's going to slightly change his strategy, but those first 10 laps really don't mean all too much. So it's a little bit of a shock that DJ is going to decide to go for the early strategy to head down and in. Stagner going to be behind Daco Parka now and runs officially in 23rd after the pit cycle. Micus will lead Cannon and Jared Davis. Now you're going to see DJ's the winner off pit road, so from 23rd on down, give or take, which is all the way down to 50th. That's slightly more than half the field. They're on new rubber. The remaining half, however, is going to stay on their original set, and we had less than 10 laps under green. Let's see now what they can do. The difference, but it isn't anything major just yet. 8 laps, give or take 12 miles out of a 120 lap race, 180 miles. I think it's going to mean all too much to go in significantly early. As in, going so early that there's only 10 laps and 11 laps on the table. We'll restart at lap number 12. Let's see what the field has in store for us now after a mid-pack collision. Sam Nieto and Kyle Cooper made contact, and that leads to Steve Durham, Ryan Potter, and Sam Nieto getting some of the worst damage in that altercation. Daniel Foss as well. Daniel is on pit road, as is Durham still. Sam Nieto looks to be off the racing circuit. So one retiree on the day with significant engine problems. Couldn't repair it, and unfortunately that means Sam has to back out early. Cannon is again on the front row, but it's a new man to the lead. The front row will swap places. Advantage, Chad Micus. One lap to green, Domination, Intimidation Racing lining up on the opposite row of their leading man. That's going to be Chad Micus, of course, as your first place driver. You got Michael Stroll 4th, Rob Ackley in 6th. The number 3, of course, as team leaders run strong today. Ackley has impressed us so far in qualifying and practice, and it looks like he's keeping himself at the head of the field once again in Home Depot Chevrolet. Ready to go back at it with DIR at the head of the field. JTM Motorsport has Thomas Bressi right now running in 8th. It looks like, however, the rest of the team has not pulled himself up there yet, but a few of those guys chose to go for the alternate tire strategy. Matthew Thunhorst is 28th right now, but he's 5th overall of your guys on new rubber. So he's going to decide to take a riskier call, and that's going to put him at the back of the field for now, but there is potential for significant upside as a result of going in so early. We'll see if new tires work out. It's time for the field to get back at it once again. Pace car ducks low. Micus is in. Blake Cannon on the outside. Jared Davis will be alongside Michael Stroll as we get back to work again. This time around, your former outside pole sitter has the race lead. They're grinding off each other's doors, but Chad Micus gets the lead and the jump. Cannon with an aggressive block on Jared Davis. Welcome back to the green flag. We're back to work now, and Blake Cannon is already being hustled for second place. That's Daytona winner Jack Drucker making it a 3-wide race lead battle, and the 56 is up high. Drucker's got the speed and a head full of steam at that. Drucker's high, Cannon's low, Micus falls back into the middle. Jack is giving us a real good run-in for the first time in a 1.5-mile circuit. Your season opening winning man is up to the point, and he will not back down. The Minute Maid Toyota Supra runs the second groove. Blake Cannon is on the inside. Just up top will also be Cody Smith now in the Next Level Racing Chevrolet. It's intense now for the 56, and it looks like he has decided not to bow out. He's going to keep Blake Cannon real honest now into turns 1 and 2, and Chad Micus lies in third. Cody Smith up top has about the same amount of speed, maybe a little bit better off the corner exit, but gets boxed out by your top two. That leaves Micus down low, Michael Stroll in fifth. Jared Davis now goes toe-to-toe with the Louisiana State University Brent McClendon up on the top. And an amazing time, of course, for our universities. If we're talking about sports otherwise, March Madness. Now, we're not Chicago. We have some more March Madness trivia to hit if we get back to Chicagoland sometime soon. But good to see those All-Naters represented. It looks like for Brent McClendon, representing Louisiana as he has all season long, toe-to-toe now with the number 3 of Michael Stroll still. But Michael now getting slowly but surely up toward Chad Micus. Good pass on number 25. Jack Drucker leading, Blake Cannon second. Third place now is the number 3. Michael Stroll is having a good night so far, but you can't take it for granted because now you got new drivers coming up who haven't been up front all night long. So far, the guys on those brand new tires haven't done much of anything. Unfortunately, it looks like Hunter in the 07, Elliott Henderson the 37, Dinsmore in the 95 have not yet made it work. A little bit of contact there between Jake Miller and the number 95 of Joe Dinsmore. IORA Racing in the chat room, welcome back. Great to have you guys here. And yes, indeed, the Integrity Racing League with 2 premier partners this year. We'll talk about them as the night goes on. Sim Motion coming on for 2025 and beyond. Next Level Racing has been with us since the beginning, and now their brand ambassador gets up to the point. Cody Smith, former winner at this track, leads out of lap 18. And of course, always great to have the support of our friends at the IORA Racing Series. They were on FTN for a while there, and they were, of course, working with our friends at FTN Broadcasting, who do such a great job with the open wheel stuff, and we're glad to now call them family with our Whiplash SimCams partnership as well. Currently, however, Cody Smith is taking an iconic paint scheme in this league back up to the point. Now, Michael Stroll bangs the wall. That's going to give teammate Micus a position. Fortunately, Ryan Potter in the chat room for opposite reasoning, the 99 getting again into a misfortunate circumstance. Potter going to find himself effectively down and out now outside of that top 45. Potter's teammate Stagner led early for the swamp, but right now DJ Stagner is in the same boat of many drivers who decided to go for that riskier call to go for new tire. Still very far behind. DJ Stagner right alongside Tyler Hensley. Looks like advantage Stagner. That's for 40th place, though. And for a driver now from that number 64 who led early, really unfortunate to see he's so far behind. I think he took a penalty or something of the sort amid our pit road cycle because he came out 23rd and ended up in 40th by the restart and hasn't really made all too many moves since then. Never count out Stagner. He always tries to do something different, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Brent McClendon is going down the ladder and fast. Hopefully that's not a serious issue, but for the number 11 of McClendon, looks like now that isn't the case. In fact, he's made it up the ladder. Timing and scoring might have shown him fall, but he's got the race lead. New man on top, it's Brent over Cody Smith. Now Jack Drucker is third, Chad Micus, P4. Michael Stroll is going to be fifth, and Thomas Bresci is sixth. It looks like Michael, although he slammed the wall, recovering well. Domination, Intimidation Racing with the most drivers in the top 10 today of any team. You'll have Micus running 4th, Stroll running 5th, and then Michael Araya. Well, he's now just ahead of Rob Ackley. Ackley finds himself down to P12. Roadhouse Racing has their new man, the number 27 of Blake Cannon, to the point. Of course, their flagship driver is Tom Wetmore, but tonight, Wetmore doesn't find himself on the circuit, although we heard he might be watching today's broadcast, so if Tom Wetmore's with us, let us know. It looks like his teammate is doing a pretty good job right now, that number 27 representing tonight, Roadhouse, and of course, Blake Cannon's ever iconic number 27, the black and pink Coors Light machine. Currently ducking low on Thomas Bressi. Bressi was involved in the championship battle that went down to the wire, and it included a race in Kentucky. Wetmore, of course, now, of course, with that teammate in Blake Cannon. Let's talk about Thomas Bressi for a brief moment. Fortunately, we often hamper down on those weaknesses for Bressi. His weakness is he's been the perpetual and perennial bridesmaid of the Ignite series so far. I mean, when you talk about the numbers, he was second in both season championships in 2023. He was second in the overall championship in 2024, 12 laps away from winning the title. And right now, he is 1 point off of the championship lead in second place. That's not a joke either. It's just unbelievable how remarkably consistent he's been at being second overall. He was the Next Level Racing full-year champion in 2023, but right now, again, he's in that bridesmaid spot. And last time he came here in a serious championship position, it was he and Alec Daffin, and that was the run where Alec Daffin went from 16th in the championship to 1st in 5 races with 5 consecutive podiums, 2 wins, 2 second-place finishes, and a worst finish of 3rd. The best run of 5 races we've ever seen in this series, bar none. But tonight, it's not about another driver's success for Thomas Bressi. It's about taking that experience and bringing his way in to the front of the field. Number 24, Exalta Chevrolet of Thomas Bressi finds himself just outside the top 5, and why not keep moving forward? The difference is those levels of aggression, and right now, from the broadcast booth standpoint anyway, I can't quite tell what the right thing to do is. We got guys like Brent McClendon or Jack Drucker or even Cody Smith who really drove their way in by force, getting themselves up in front. They weren't at the top of the board when it comes to qualifying. They were close. They were in the mid-teens, outside the top 15, but still relatively quick. You got to remember there are 50 drivers, but they have driven their way in, and they've done so on old rubber, which makes what I'm seeing very risky and hard to say if it's the right thing to do. It's also very challenging to say there's a real right way to go about a race, but when it comes down to that long-term strategy, usually this over-aggressive nature doesn't work out for a long green flag run. And if we anticipate seeing more than 60 laps, someone like Brent McClendon or Jack Drucker or Cody Smith is unfortunately bound to fall unless they're managing very well their tires, which can happen, yes. It looks like right now they're putting themselves in a situation where they bank on a caution or they don't get what they want. Tricky. Very hard to tell whether or not that's the right move so early, but we still have some 91 laps to go from here. Juice in the chat, of course, rooting on. Hunter right now is the leading man on new tires. Watch out for this 07. Matalenis is looking to make it up and up. Elliot Henderson goes to the inside. That is for 17th currently. But these two drivers are a dangerous duo at the front of the field because as they move up, they're bringing the rest of the guys on new tire. So far, new rubber has not meant a significant difference, but with these guys coming up, it could be the symbol of a new wave. Watch out. The advantage would be 10 laps, and 10 laps does mean an awful lot in a full green flag run, which is anticipated to be around 60, 65 laps. That still is about 17% of the run. That's a serious load to think about, especially when you consider that could be up to 17% of your pace lost if you go with that 1-to-1 correlation. Seconds matter, Every driver is going to be running quicker than 35 seconds, but the difference between a 32-second lap and a 33-second lap on a consistent basis is serious. Brent McClendon's best lap overall is a 30.663. A 32.135 is what he ran last time by. If we set 30 as 0, he ran a .663 as his best, a 2.135 as his most recent. Matter of fact, he just went slower that time by with a 32.267. So you're tripling the amount of extra time you add on to the lap from 30 all the way down just by running for 30 laps. That continued decay, it is really going to hurt you as the race progresses. And all those seconds and all those laps will continue to add up, but right now McClendon still looks strong. Let's take a look now to Blake Cannon facing some pressure from the DIR duo. Chad Mikus occupying 5th. Michael Stroll is there in 6th. Thomas Bressi now to the inside for P6 and maybe going for a double up. Bressi low, the AC Delco Chevrolet is going to lie back, give Thomas some room, but it might help out for Michael Stroll actually. Now he'll get a good shot, and he'll do so across the outside of the circuit. Advantage Michael Stroll up top, but not into turns 1 and 2. He has the speed down the straightaways, but it isn't enough to go back and clear Thomas Bressi, and I think right now those corners will be king. Lower groove seems to be the best place to go in terms of making passes. The high sides, to this point, haven't done all too much. And there's Tom Wetmore in the chat room with us, rooting on Roadhouse Motorsport. Looks like right now Cannon, one of the newest partners with that group, he's up into 4th again, looking for what could be his 3rd victory on the season. And of course, you got a few other guys working with the Roadhouse Brigade all weekend long. It looks like they're a little bit further back in the field, so we're trying to get a focus on those mid-pack battles right now. I mean, you'll see this is JTM's Matthew Thunhorst in number 8. Thunhorst on new rubber has gotten up to 28th here. So it looks like he's making a few moves, but even still, a lot of struggles for guys who decided to go in and use that new tire to their advantage, because so far it really hasn't played out to be all too much of an advantage. Instead, looks like honestly it's just sent them down the order and not given them very little in return. Elliot Henderson and Hunter Matalenis, 17th and 18th, look to be the only drivers who have really made much of it so far, but even then, the entire top 15 is filled with drivers who have not yet gone down a pit road, and it looks like that still might be the advantageous strategy, as everyone will be able to go for a one-stop call on the day. One stopper being ideal, we're running a slightly shorter than usual intermediate race at 120 laps. Usually we see 134 laps or something of that nature. And that's often what we see in the Octane Series, as we will tomorrow. And that's right, we got 2 races this week, as we always do. It'll be a 200-lap race tomorrow as the Octane Series continues their championship quest. If you like the racing you're seeing today and you like the drivers, there's really no reason not to tune in tomorrow, because we're going to see many of the same guys going back to work once again. The Octane Series will continue their championship quest. And while we go to Kentucky here today, it'll be the Homestead Miami Speedway tomorrow, and you'll see guys like Cody Smith, Blake Cannon, maybe Michael Stroll, and Chad Mikus. A lot of crossovers from one series to the next, fighting it out in a very similar, very competitive landscape. You won't want to miss it. Same time, different date, same place. Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. on FTN Broadcasting, the Integrity Racing League presents the Octane Series, the next-gen challenge for 30 races each year, and it has the same high stakes with this level of competition. Defending Octane Series champ Michael Araya has turned his attention to the Monday nights, and so far, he's done a real good job in the 44. Uriah has not proven to be the outright dominant man as he was last year, but I think that just goes to show the ever-increasing talent pool we have. Michael showed up last season, was able to come through with 10 races. He is the second winningest driver in the history of the Integrity Racing League's modern era. Its winningest man is the 16-time race winner, Ethan Lane, with 15 in the Octane Series and 1 now in the Ignite Series. Well, he's gotten himself there time and once more. He is an undeniable force when it comes to sim racing, and he is far and away above, a cut above really, when it comes to especially those Octane Series statistics. In total, he's gotten himself victories in all 3 years of the Integrity Racing League, 3rd place overall in the Octane Series. Now it's between Tom Wetmore and Seth Noel. Seth has effectively retired. Wetmore is still an active contender. Wetmore having himself a total of 6. Most recent at Daytona. But by the numbers, Blake Cannon has proven impressive as of late. He is a 2-time race winner in the Ignite Series this year and a 4-time winner overall in the Integrity Racing League. He's looking for his 5th league win today as he slides under Brett McClendon and bats for the lead again. Advantage Cannon. Now, you might see the downfall of a man who fought so hard to get here. He's going to look further back. Let's see now whether or not McClendon is able to hang on for 2nd place or if this is the start of falling back. The top 3 drivers in Cannon, McClendon, and Smith consistently were able to make time and make a big advantage over the rest of the field, but now McClendon is losing to number 27 of Blake Cannon. And it's not good news to see now, of course, for McClendon anyway, but he's going to have to defend hard on Cody Smith if he wants to keep his position into the pit cycle. We have about 20 laps until that window opens. Time is running out until that point. Lap number 60 is the magic number in terms of strategy. We split it in 2. Usually anyway, for the magic number. So we have 120 laps today. Lap 60 is the magic number, which means that a driver can go 60 laps and then they'll make it the rest of the race on one final pit stop. Chad Mikus will be an exception. Mikus and Stroll head in the pit road this time by after 45 laps out of 120, and those two heading in early for the DIR cause. Domination Intimidation Racing sees themselves in. Michael Uriah, Blake Cannon, and Cody Smith stay out, but an early move from one of the best teams of the day so far, whether or not the number 3 and 25 are copied as the night progresses, because it looks like that move was intentional and did not come as a spur-of-the-moment call. And see further back, it looks like the majority of top 10, top 15 stays out. Now, Jacob Fife, side by side with Blake Gordon once again. Gordon's going to get himself up to 9th on those brief moments where he just has the edge over inside number 36. Fife hasn't quite gotten him for the position just yet, and it looks like Gordon now is going to be ever so slightly clear. Up top, there's the 37 of Elliott Henderson, and then you got Jared Davis trying to get inside of the top 15 battle as well. Ethan Lane is with Rob Ackley, and Lane has been so consistent in falling to the mid-pack of these fields. But in doing so, I think it's cost them chances in the races later on. Not quite sure if it's strategic or really falling out of pace, but Ethan Lane has gone for a different approach compared to outright dominating. He's let the middle of these races really come to the rest of the field and then taken it back in his control later on. It got him to victory last week in the Octane Series. Now he's looking to bring that strategy to fruition again, this time on a Monday night. But sometimes strategy calls are not transferable or applicable depending on what you see. 19 high, 6 low. Ethan Lane now starting to look perhaps for some more positions. This would be for 13th place, which Jared currently holds. But it looks like now it'll be the number 6 of Ethan Lane looking at him once again. Can't quite get there. Number 36 of Jacob Fife. Gonna block again, and now the top dozen battle possesses 3 drivers all going at each other. Hunter Mattielenis in that number 10 spot now, looking to rebound from, of course, a victory. And it's hard to say that it's necessarily a rebound, but it's more a proof of life to show that the 017 will become a consistent playoff-worthy contender. As to the inside, you saw Nicholas Ward go through after 50 laps. In Ward comes also Jacob Fife in the number 36. Fife doing so considerably early, and now it looks like we got more of these guys coming in from their old rubber. Hopefully, we can see some guys try to stretch it for 60, but more and more, it's looking like that will not be the case. This is going to make tonight a lot more interesting as a two-stop strategy might come unfolding. Brent McClendon down and in. Cody Smith having himself leading, and this is where going on to pit road earlier becomes more valuable. 52 laps in out of 120. All of a sudden, however, it looks like now we might see pit road open a little bit earlier than anticipated, even without a definite fuel limit. Those tires are pretty burnt up. Cody Smith that time by from the lead ran a 32.5 compared to a 30.685. 2 seconds slower per lap. He is losing 1 lap per every 15 and has been at that rate for the past 30 laps. So if a driver started 1 lap down right now and was exactly 1 behind on Cody Smith, which would mean they'd be officially side by side with him at the line 1 lap down, it would take that driver about 15 laps if they just kept at that new tire pace to make it up to Cody Smith. Realistically, it would be about 25 laps until they get up to the ailing Cody Smith, at which point he'll be going slower than the driver who was immediately and initially on new tires. Thomas Bresci continues to chase after Cody Smith. Michael Araya now has gotten himself inside of the podium. With so many drivers breaking away now, the SimSpeed Shop number 44 has been given a chance to shine at the head of the field, something he hasn't had all night long. Ronnie Osmer in the number 55 just made his way through. Here comes that number 33rd place machine. 33rd place, number 55. It looks like right now Osmer struggling a little bit more than usual, although he just got back off of pit road, so he's looking to cycle up some 10 or 15 places from here. Not a guarantee just yet that he'll get the job done and make those places up, but of course now it all hangs in the balance of leading man Cody Smith just wants to go 5 more laps. Now Thomas Bresci is right there with Smith. Take a ride on board with the number 24 as he looks for the race lead. Clutching and coasting, you can hear it now. Bresci is saving all he's got to just stretch it to the magic number. So it looks like now we're coming toward the tail end of a stint where the magic number can be applied, but that also means the guys on new rubber, for example, Elliott Henderson, Ethan Lane, Hunter Mattielenis, then you got Nick Tarbuck. These drivers, well, looks like at long last they've got an opportunity that might make it even better for them. They could run 10 extra laps easily, maybe not concern themselves with hitting a magic number of 60 on the stint this time around, and then going long later, or better yet, running longer even further in the first stint, and then pushing harder through stint number 2. That was Michael Stroll in the number 3, and you saw him there, he was blazing through, going 3 wide with your leaders, and now he's going to bring his teammate and Chad Mikus there with. Ethan Lane 3rd, Cody Smith in 4th. 5th place will be Elliott Henderson in the number 37. 58 laps in out of 120 here, coming to lap 59, and Thomas Bresci has made it evident now that these drivers will make it. Although it looks like now Cody Smith is going to drop a little bit further back into 4th place, he's still going to get a chance to make it through this first stint in the top 5, which means that 60 more laps to go from this point onward gives Thomas Bresci and company a chance to go and split it exactly halfway. Cody Smith will come in slightly earlier as he'll come in at lap 60, but it looks like Bresci and all will make 60 laps. Halfway down, halfway to go from here. Bresci is your leader, and then you got Michael Araya now running second. Thomas getting a shot to really control strategy. If he comes in this time by or anywhere after, he's going to be in a position where winning could be in the bag. Of course, it all comes down to how he approaches the rest of this race, but a really good strategy call, saving just enough to come in right at the halfway marker. 60 laps to go. Michael Araya, Thomas Bresci, your 1-2 coming down and in. You got Hunter in the 0-7. Now is your race leader, it appears, Ethan Lane in the number 6, who is just 2 spots ahead. Lane takes it to the point. Henderson and Matalenis with the 2nd and 3rd. Jared Davis just went through. Davis doing so from 4th on the run. Another strong runner making his way in now that we've gotten to the halfway marker, and now that we're looking set potentially past it. Davis making his way through lap number 62. Ethan Lane is going to lead the way in the number 6, and then you got Elliot Henderson in number 37. Further back, Hunter Matalenis in that Shell 07. Looks like currently we'll have Nick Tarbuck, Braxton Deweese, Paul Mikolajczyk running in 6th. 7th place will then be Matthew Thunhorst. 3 wide here with guys including Matt Press. Although some of these drivers are lappers, still looking to get their rubber into grips and getting themselves up to the front of the field. Old Tire taking advantage now. Matt Press, one of those guys cycling around. Preston, the number 60, has himself just behind now the 45 of Adam Wood. Wood running so far a solid night, all things considered, as is Vinny Tigner. Tigner going to be 24th right now on new tire. He's still looking to cycle around where all these guys on new tire, of course, get up front. We have a total now of just about 16 holdouts going out to Josh Gallagher in number 96. Ethan Lane being the first of which he's on a 55-lap run. And Lane is anticipated to try to go for 60 and then make his way in. If he goes for a 60-lap run, he'll only have about 50 laps to go after that point. That is an advantage and a big one for Lane because he'll have to worry about 10 fewer laps. So while someone like Thomas Bresci, for instance, in his number 24, will have to worry about budgeting more time in with his final stint of tire, Ethan Lane won't have to. There are 10 less laps that Ethan Lane will have to worry about making his way through, which means he can either choose to chew up the rubber a little bit harder, and maybe end up at the same tire wear level as a 60-lap runner, or better yet, he can conserve his stuff and remain faster all throughout. It's really a ball in his court when it comes to tire strategy now. Lane going down to pit road in the first caution of the day, making a difference. We will see. Up high goes Lane, down low goes Vinny Tigner. That shows you that new rubber is out for blood, and those tires are making a massive change all throughout the track. Don't for a second think that Vinny Tigner's done for the day here. It looks like he might have a shot for a top 15 performance in the number 12. Tigner, coming off another very strong run in Saturday Night Thunder, is looking to back up a fight for the Rookie of the Year contest last year in the Integrity Racing League with another solid season. Right now, Vinny finding himself 26th after dropping 12 positions based on last week's race in the Charlotte Motor Speedway by virtue of not making it through. So he's hoping instead to get himself back up to the front of the field, looking again to make those changes and get a top 15. Take a ride on board now with the number 12. Tigner now onto his 18th lap on new tire here, which, if he goes the rest of the way, will give him about a 70-lap stint. Don't think that's advantageous when it comes to the long term. Nevertheless, it's still workable, but compared to the drivers right now who are holdouts waiting to head to pit road, they're going to have themselves in a significantly better position. There's the number 6 of Lane, and it looks like he is slowing down. And it'll be concession now for the Lane machine. Ethan heads in. This time by, it's for good. It'll be his final green flag pit stop of the day, no matter what. 51 laps to go, coming to 50 remaining. Blake Cannon finding himself now in second, and he'll have a chance to take the race lead on a 20-lap stint. Michael Stroll running third. Ronnie Osmer running in third officially after he comes across. Overall, he's in fourth now, but when he comes past Lane, he will enter the podium. Brett McClendon goes fifth. Right now, Thomas Bresci, however, still finds himself a ways back. Thomas is in 16th, and he is getting pressured big by Jack Drucker. Drucker doesn't find himself in the best of spots right now because while he's right behind Thomas Bresci, yes, he has 4 laps of older tire. Drucker in that position finds himself now in a spot where he's going to have to be a do-or-die guy, and it looks like he's not going to be doing the work to pull up in front. Rob Ackley instead is going to get to him, and now the number 22 looks low, and that's going to be a perfect time for Ackley to make another pass. Rob is eyeing a top 10 finish today, and it looks like he's as serious as it gets about it. While his teammate runs in P2 now, he's looking to catch up and maybe even best him as the night progresses. Louisiana State University's number 11 Chevrolet Camaro, now facing off against another largely purple Chevrolet, that of Nicholas Ward. Ward right now getting closer and closer to the top 3. We have not yet spoken to Ward as a podium sitter yet in any of our Integrity Racing League events in the modern era, and quite a surprise for a driver who has 100 plus starts overall, who's gotten on the top 5 before, to just miss out on the podium that many times. I'd love to hear from him, and he's a driver who we've seen so many times before with solid runs, but he also, in a similar way to Jared Davis, is quite the mystery in that respect. We've gotten some chances to see him run up front. Victory still eludes him, but only just. Jacob Fife runs 5th now, always a driver to keep out for when it comes to alternate strategy. He's been working the 2 tires so well in the Octane Series that he's not really that much of a surprise, even though in Atlanta, when he burst out for a victory, he really was a shocker. Not so much now. He's starting to show that there's a little bit more that meets the eye to the Fife team, but currently, it's going to be 5th place for Jacob as he's got by Ronnie Osmer to get again in the top 5 with 46 laps to go. Blake Cannon holds 4th. One second back is Michael Stroll. 3rd place is Brent McClendon, and the number 11, Nicholas Ward, then will be 4th. Jacob Fife is going to find himself, of course, as we mentioned, 5th. We'll take a look a little bit further back now to see some other battling. Galen Gidman is going at it. Jared Davis. Davis getting himself to 15th with that maneuver, and the VRS 04 of Gidman is now facing heavy pressure. Bresci's on a 15-lap run of tire. Relative to every driver ahead of him, he is on the youngest set. That's going to be a huge advantage, even though right now he is 8 seconds off of the race lead. That time by, he was the only driver of those ahead of him to run a sub-32-second lap. Michael Laraya has been the only exception over the course of the last 2 laps, and it looks like Laraya actually quicker than Bresci that time by, but the remainder of the field is all significantly slower now in the 32-second bracket, while Bresci is still able to pull a 31-second lap consistently. That's the type of advantage that will give him a shot for the win if he can just continue pushing up in front. Bresci again to the inside. This time it'll be on Adam Wood. battle is for 13th, and it looks like quickly an open and shut case for the 24. Blake Gordon right now going to find himself getting closer to Matt Press. Press getting up to 8th on a 24-lap run. Matt tonight, really a silent start, but now he's getting loud when it matters most. 22nd place up to 8th place. 33rd to 9th a little bit further back for Blake Gordon, and you'll have Michael Araya 24th to 10th in the number 44. Matt Press right now, of course, has gained quite a few positions, a total of 14. And then you have Blake Gordon, who's gone up about 24 on the day. Up 14 is Michael Araya. Big moves being made in the top 10, and your leader right now is one of the only exceptions. He is +0, -0, first place to first place again for Cannon, as Blake eyes what could be his 3rd win of the season and his 3rd in the last 4 races. 41 laps remaining this time by. With time to spare, of course, we got a little bit to tell you about our 2 promotional partners here in the Integrity Racing League. We mentioned it in the chat room below, so we'll start with our new guys first. That, of course, is Sim Motion. And, of course, they're coming in alongside Next Level Racing, so let's show you their promotional codes. Next Level Racing provides high-quality performance products for dedicated sim racers who deserve nothing but the best. Check out their 5% promo code Integrity24 at their website, or scan the QR code on our screen, and that'll give you more detail as to how to use it. With amazing performance sim racing cockpits and additional hardware for all of your simulation needs, Next Level Racing has been a partner of the Integrity Racing League since 2023, and they're still with us to this day for good reason. But joining them on the fray now is our friend at Sim Motion, and they now are ever expanding their presence as one of the newest additions to the hardware vendor market in simulation racing and beyond. Visit us.sim-motion.com, the website on your link, of course, screen below, or use the QR code and save 5% with promo code Integrity. 5% off checkout for all items, no limits, and courtesy again of our great friends at Sim Motion and Next Level Racing, bringing all the action to you here live on FTN with the Integrity Racing League. Blake Cannon still has a major advantage here. Thomas Bressy's gotten himself up to 12th, and it looks like he's eyeing both Vinny Tigner and Cody Smith. With such a significant change, of course, in the ladder of this race, you're seeing guys with 20-lap runs, seeing guys with 30-lap runs, and Thomas Bressy right now is just coming in only above 20. And that's going to be a huge advantage now as he gets closer to both the 12 and 18. Stuck in the middle now with Jared Davis. Davis to the inside again, trying to make a rebound. Blake Cannon, however, just went down and in. That's the number 27 making a move, and Cannon to pit road after 34 laps. And it looks like the old tires will concede for the 27. Blake is going to decide to go for one more pit stop. Looks like an unpopular decision, relatively speaking, right now, but this could be bad news for everyone else. Yes, Michael Stroll will now decide to go down and in. And it looks like the magic number will not come to be for a lot of your guys inside the top 10. They went in early, and now they're suffering the consequences. We've seen this a few times before, and it looks like it's happening again. Drivers who are on more than a 30-lap stint right now are in jeopardy because not a driver in the field has gone for a 70-lap run. I mean, if you look at the number 77 of Paul Mikolajczyk, he's on a currently 17-lap run, so that would go back to about lap 69. But reminder, drivers went into pit road under caution at about lap 10, so you really can't take those numbers at face value because even the first 10 laps aren't as big a deal when it comes to the rest of that run. And that green flag stint determines more than anything else how exactly we should approach the circumstance at hand. That means that 70 laps is effectively impossible, no matter what. 34 laps to go, and time continues to dry up. Jacob Fife in the number 36, and Nicholas Ward up and ahead. It's a new group up and in front. Ward, Fife, McClendon, Michael Araya in the 44 now, going at it with Daco Parka. .33 laps to go. Still looking out for Thomas Bresci. When we talk about the guys in the youngest sets of rubber, Bresci is in 9th. Now, with 26 laps, Jared Davis is in 7th. Davis is really making his way. Jared right now, that number 19's got a perfect opportunity with Blake Cannon just ahead of him here to keep making moves at an upward trajectory. Again, Cannon is going to decide to risk it for an additional stopgap pit stop. That'll put him back to the tail end of the field, and although Blake has currently sacrificed track position, he's got an opportunity to make it all up. The number 27 is running in position 37 right now, but with 32 laps to go, he's anticipating that he can get back on the lead lap and make up spots all at once. And if there's anyone who can do that in little time, bet on Cannon. All else. Nicholas Ward getting his time in the sun now, leading laps toward the tail end of the race. 30 laps to go this time by as he'll take Jacob Fife around. If you have a favorite driver that you're rooting for tonight, you gotta let us know here. 91 laps in out of 120. We're coming toward the very end of the day, and we'd love to know who you're rooting for. So let us know in the FTN chat room below. We always love hearing about the favorite drivers of our viewers. And of course, if you subscribe, you'll have unlimited chat room access for all of our FTN broadcasted events. We got some great special events coming up. April 2nd, we're going to go dirt racing with a 358 modifieds. We got some great friends coming along to bring you some different type of racing action, something we don't do all too often. And of course, we'll keep you up to date with all our oval stuff on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Very soon, Sundays with the Schumacher Racing League. Matt Press to the inside. That's the number 18 spot he's in right now. The 60 goes through, as do a few more. Pit road is now occupied further, and Press gets on the way, as does Andrew Hamilton. And with Hamilton coming in, it's another driver. And so is the 38 of Daniel Foss. Foss right now 20 laps down in the 46th position. Unfortunately for your defending champion in Braxton DeWeese, not been the best of nights so far, although he's gotten himself up inside of the top 20. Currently running in 16th place according to timing and scoring. He looks to be set to maybe make it happen for a top 10. Here's how. 23 lap run, and currently it looks like 5 drivers ahead of him are on a 42-plus lap run, which we have counted out as a practical mathematical impossibility to make it to the end of the race. Here are the guys in big jeopardy. Nicholas Ward on a 43-lap run. For 43 laps, Jacob Fife. Brent McClendon for 42 laps. For 44 laps, Vinny Signer. Those drivers are all ahead of DeWeese, which is good 4 positions for any driver behind those guys, which would move a 15th place man such as Braxton up into 11th, and then he would have to worry solely on a driver who, like the one immediately ahead of him in Elliott Henderson. The same goes for Tyler Hensley, who's having a solid race in 16th here. Hensley's been on a good return tour. He hasn't been anything shocking, shall we say. Hasn't been the perfect driver, of course, but he has been above expectations. For a guy who took the whole year off in 2024, he's come back in good spirits, and we love to see that for a driver who was always a competitive threat in the mid-pack, and he still is now. Nicholas Ward leads the way right now, still ahead of Michael Araya and Brent McClendon. Coming to the inside of pit road, Thomas Bresci sees the 11 of McClendon make through, and another driver deciding to go down and in. So this is when things get really risky. Drivers assigned to head in late in the going. Nicholas Ward still finding himself up and ahead with 25 laps to go. Time is running out here, and we're coming toward 24 laps remaining this time by. Nicholas Ward holding the advantage. Thomas Bresci getting closer and closer now to the head of the pack. That time by, Bresci now scored officially in 3rd place. Then you'll have Jared Davis about a half second ahead, and then you'll have Nicholas Ward, who leads now by 4.3 seconds over Bresci and 3.3 over Jared Davis. That is just enough now to hang on for maybe some 10 laps. But a reminder, Ward will still have to go down to pit road. Mathematically speaking, the odds are not in his favor. With 23 laps to go this time by, we're coming toward 22 laps to go. And as always, Whiplash SimCam has us covered on FTN. For 2025 and beyond, we've joined the Whiplash SimCam's family, courtesy of our friends at Pit Stop TV. iRacing's newest, most up-to-date camera solution provides any broadcaster, from novice to expert, an amazing chance as the caution flies. Yellow flag is out, and we've got trouble on the racing circuits. Trying to figure out what caused it here as the caution is out. Blake Cannon is in pit road, but it looks like he's just fine. Ronnie Osmer also looks good to go. So we're trying to figure this out here. Caution coming out for the second time today. We'll have less than 20 laps to go from here. Talk about a run to the end that's going to be real intense. As the field shuffles out, we're trying to get our eyes on Michael Raya right now, number 44. Raya looking a little bit slower than before in the 44. That might be a clue as to what just happened here. We're going to take it back and rewind to figure out who was involved in our most recent caution of the day. Saw him there on pit road. And if we go overhead on the circuit, you might see even a little bit more than what we're looking at right now. Taking a look ahead, the entire track looked to be rather clean, going into turns 3 and 4, and we're giving you the full view of everything on the circuit at the time of the yellow. And it looks like it's mostly clean and green. Watching everything go by. Into turns 1 and 2, more the same. By around this point, however, the yellow flag was called, and yes, we see exactly why. You'll notice down the back straightaway there was trouble. And now we're going to focus right toward it. So the caution is out, and we have a look at our cause, and it looks like one down through the back straightaway here. Fortunately, with some 50 drivers, Blake Cannon just disconnected. It's Cannon out of the race. Cannon is the cause of your caution. Horrible news for a driver who's averaged 2nd place over the last 3 events. And he went down and in, made contact, and it looks like that was it. Caution's out. Blake Cannon. Nevertheless, we'll take ourselves back up in front as we collect ourselves to go green this time by. It'll be 19 laps remaining. Nicholas Ward going to have himself control, and we'll crank it up next time by. Leaders get themselves assembled again, and what a long run we had in between cautions of some 100 laps. And that's always what we love to see, that consistent green flag racing where drivers making an amazing effort of keeping things long and strong in terms of that consistent pace. Now it's going to come down to another sprint, which is exciting, yes, but it's going to be a completely different look. Michael Stroll gathers himself on the inside. It's the 97 of Ward up top. Vast majority of our field is still with us. After that one, however, it looks like Michael Araya, the newest driver to retire, and he might be the final on the day, dependent on how clean we are from here to the end. Stroll's got the edge as your leading man from 11th to 1st. The DIR driver has it to the point. Then you'll have Nicholas Ward, who now, by virtue of a timely yellow flag, has an opportunity to go all the way and win for the first time in his Integrity Racing League career. We'll crank it up this time through as we head back green for lap 102. That means now, with 19 laps to go, we are going to crank it up from Kentucky. Brought to you by Whiplash Sim Cams. Jared Davis finds himself leading now with 14 laps remaining. Davis getting a rocket launch off the restart. That gives the number 24 an opportunity. That's your second place man, Thomas Bresci. And third place is Nicholas Ward. Top three right now is going to be in hot contention with the number 22 of Rob Ackley, even giving it a shot himself. That's the 22 now. Ackley getting close. Jared, however, could be en route to his first career victory with a 0.2 of a second advantage now over Thomas Bresci. He's got himself on the inside. Second place will be Bresci, of course, in the number 24, and Nicholas Ward holds it in third. Rob Ackley's fourth place. Hunter Matalenis is in fifth, and Vinny Tigner runs sixth. Matthew Thunhorst is seventh. DJ Stagner eighth. Cody Smith then ninth, and Braxton Weiss now getting that chance in the top 10. Climbing up the ranks with 12 remaining. The bottom half of the top 10 is particularly shuffled. Jared Davis, though, now has himself up in front, and it looks like he's rather comfortable with that position as he's coming toward the very tail end of tonight's event. Looking at Thomas Bresci here, he's right in line, but he hasn't made a gain. Not even a position. Take a ride on board now with the 24 once more. Nicholas Ward, third place, in the number 97 here. And with 11 laps remaining, Ward could be on the verge of his first ever Ignite Series podium. Admittedly, a troublesome start for the 97. He had an incident at Daytona that was really uncalled for. It came down to him as lap traffic with the leaders in the field, but it was a rookie error, all things considered, in a very big pack. Nevertheless, we know that Ward has talent, and he's showing it once again. This could be his best ever finish in the Integrity Racing League, and it looks like it's going to come at the hands of a hard-fought performance and a timely yellow flag. Jared Davis right now leading with only 10 laps to go. The single digits up next, the job nearly complete. Davis, ever the enigma, keeps himself all alone up and ahead, but the gap towards second place has tightened slightly, with him 0.2 of a second through the corners, and what was nearly a 0.4 of a second gap has halved once again. If Bressi and the JTM crew have anything left, they better show it now. Bressi in prime position to take over the championship lead, and what a way to do it would be if he did it with a win. 9 laps to go. This time by, coming toward your final moments here in Kentucky. Bressi still watching. All things considered, he is significantly outperforming the guys around him tonight in the point standings. Second place, only to Jared Davis, would give Bressi P1 and break open the near tie we've had for the championship lead across the past 3 races. He's only 1 point under Cannon coming into the night, and since he'll finish more than 1 position ahead, it's pretty clear now who your championship leader is after 6 races. Bressi will take top honors no matter what tonight, but that doesn't mean he's gonna quit, because Jared Davis now is en route for what would be his first ever victory. He missed out on Daytona to start the season. Of course, a big setback, but in the 5 races since, Davis has proven to be one of the strongest competitors, and now he's right where he needs to be. 7 to go, just a few more miles, just a few more turns, and victory awaits for your number 19. Across the line again, 6 laps remaining. Rob Ackley, 4th place here, still trying to get up to Nicholas Ward for 3rd. It looks like Ward right now is still going to hold it on. He's locked in for that 3rd spot. Rob Ackley, I'll tell you this much, that Home Depot Chevrolet, he's got himself real good today, and that's a very commendable effort for Domination Intimidation Racing. It looks like they've got 2 guys in the top 10 now. Braxton Deweese, who has struggled so far on the day, but he's taken advantage of all those mathematical impossibilities, and the caution came out at just the right time to give him all those positions he most likely would have gotten under green. With 5 to go, Deweese now looks after Cody Smith as his next potential target. JTM is looking for 2 top 10s as well, and 3 top 20s. Morton is in 18th, Matthew Thunhorst is in 7th, Thomas Bressi is now alone in 3rd, and while the battle for 2nd has subsided, it also means that the battle for 1st has come to a close. Ackley getting closer now to Nicholas Ward. The 22 looks to the inside. It could be Ward's first Ignite Series podium and the best finish he's ever had in the modern era of the Integrity Racing League. Ackley was close, couldn't quite get there. Rob now going to find himself off the back end of the number 97 once more. It'll be 3 laps to go. If Thomas Bressi has anything left in the tank, this is it. Across the line, Bressi that time by was a full 1/10 of a second faster. That is a pace good enough to win if he keeps it up for 3 more laps. Jared Davis better look back now. Coming across the back straightaway with speed and momentum alike, Thomas Bressi is a rocket ship in a 3 and 4. Jared decides to go for the early entry in that earlier apex. Bressi is now making use of the outside corner and getting off at the tail end of the apex, which is still faster, but not nearly enough that time by. 2 laps to go. Battle for third is side by side. That's the number 97 of Ward. Ackley down to the inside, advantage once more. Nicholas Ward, gap between your leaders, 18/100ths of a second, and still diminishing. Thomas Bressy's been in this position before. Many a time he's come away the winner, many a time he's come away the loser, but the bridesmaid of all these seasons with a chance to take the season points lead away doesn't want to give this up. White flags out, 1 lap remaining, brought to you by Whiplash Simcams. Davis still ahead now of Thomas Bressy, and it looks like if it doesn't take any lunge from the 24, Davis will be home free. Bressy tries through turn 3, can't get the drive off corner exit. Jared Davis and the all-black number 19 have done it again, but for the first time, he's a winner to the Integrity Racing League. In his 5th career start, Jared Davis is a winner from the Kentucky Speedway. An acclaimed sim racer with a background of winning. Finally, he's done it in the 50-car field in Sparta, Kentucky. Davis's first career victory, and he gets it done real early. A statement performance. Bressy over Ward. Rob Ackley finishes a strong day in 4th. Why not take a lap? Jared Davis around the Legends Oval. Gonna celebrate a little bit different than anything we've ever seen. And the 19 really living it up, and rightfully so. Davis parking fast, and he's out of there. Checkered flag. The night is over. 19 laps led, and the final 19 of the day, Jared Davis was untouchable to end tonight's event, winning over Thomas Bressy in P2, Nicholas Ward in 3rd, Rob Ackley in 4th, Hunter Matalenis in 5th, and Matthew Thunhorse then in P6. Vinny Tigner will be 7th with Cody Smith then 8th. Braxton Nuis comes back from 30th to 9th. Tyler Hensley, 50th place to 10th. Great race for that number 5. 11th place will then be Paul Mikolajczyk. You'll have Elliot Henderson in 12th. DJ Stagner 13th. Guy Brooks will be 14th place. Nick Tarbuck goes 15th. 16th place is then going to be Jake Miller with 17th place Don Stevenson. Kyle Cooper is 18th with Justin Morton 19th. And Casey Shue is 20th place. 21st is Ronnie Osborne, and Will Reichert is 22nd with Sebastian Miller 23rd. Joe Dinsmore 24th. Brian McFerrin, 25th, Matt Press, 26th, Josh Gallagher, P27, and Brett McClendon, while leading 25 laps, struggles late for 28th. It'll be Jacob Fife, P29, and Blake Gordon, 30th. Then you'll have 31st, Michael Stroll, Gavin Fitzgerald, 32nd, Don Runkle, 33rd, Galen Gidman, 34th, Chad Mikas, P35, and Jack Drucker, 36th. Daco Parka, Brandon Bernhardt, Adam Wood, and Andrew Hamilton make up the top 40, 41st place, and then on out. Include the following drivers. Those are Michael Araya, Steve Durham, Al Filarski, Daniel Foss, Blake Cannon, Ethan Lane, Ryan Vaughn, Ryan Potter, Boomer Logan, Sam Nieto. The 50 car field stacked tonight in Kentucky. Only 2 cautions and 1 winner. Jared Davis is really eluding us. I don't know if he's doing it intentionally any longer, but again, can't quite find him in our broadcast booth here, and I don't know if we're going to get a word from our winning driver. Jared Davis is still missing in action. Have no clue how to find him. And he's a winner. We'd love to speak to him, but it looks like, again, no idea exactly where he's at. With that said, we will move on to our second place driver in Thomas Bresci, effective immediately now, as Jared Davis, again, not eligible to come speak to us in the broadcast booth. Just looks like he is not around. So we'll try to find him, but he's really proven to be quite hard to catch up with. Nevertheless, one driver who we've spoken with many a time before and will do many a time again is your second place finisher. That's Thomas Bresci in the number 24, and now we're going to speak to him. That's your second place finisher, and tonight, a big one for the 24 crew. Second place, and it looks like you're now our regular season championship leader by virtue of significantly outperforming the Cannon crew, especially at the very end.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. I'd love to quit finishing second or something, though. Sucks being that close again and coming up a little bit short, but I mean, it was a good night overall, at least. I'm kind of conflicted on that last yellow. Like, on one hand, I was kind of happy to see it because I had to quit. I didn't have to think about fuel or anything anymore, but I also kind of wish maybe it hadn't and it had played out because I think I was either leading that one-stop strategy or I was like right behind whoever it was. I can't quite remember. I think I was maybe right behind Jared. And actually, now that I think about it, I don't know where Ward was on strategy, but either way, I mean, I was in a good spot to go to the end, and probably was lacking a little bit on the short run ultimately, which I think is kind of what let Jared get away there. I was just not doing the right stuff at each end of the racetrack and tried to play a little catch up, and I think maybe he overheated his right front or something. I was able to close back a little bit at the end, but too little, too late. So, I mean, good job to him. He drove a great race. He was up there all night, and did a better job of the last restart than I certainly did. So, yeah, points lead's great, but damn, I hate getting this close and not getting it done. So.
And it looks like it really did come down to those final 20 laps there. You and Jared Davis toe-to-toe. It looked like you were quicker in the final stretch, but couldn't find the room, perhaps, or the timing to capitalize and make a pass. Were there any challenges when it came to the aero package today? We've been here a few times before, but every time there's a big update in between the years.
I'm not I don't know about the aero side of it. I mean, I'm sure some of that played in. I think the bigger factor was just trying to manage that right front, and trying to keep that underneath it. And I think some of what was really helping me on the long run, like I think especially that first run, like after the caution up to that halfway point, I thought I was one of, if not the best cars on the long run. So I think my strength there probably is what hurt me at the end, because like just kind of muscle memory of that sort of stuff, trying to make the tire last didn't help me on the short run. But I think it was more down to the tires. And I mean, that's just kind of the way the Xfinity car has been here on iRacing, unfortunately, for a little while. It's just the fixed setups are typically, they typically plow more than a bulldozer, and just it's all about taking care of the right front. If you cook it, there's no getting it back. So it's a fine balance on that side. But there were definitely a few things aero-wise you could kind of do that would help you a little bit, but I think it was more so the tire game tonight.
And it looks like now, of course, we are coming to our 7th race of the regular season. Still a lot of time to go on that front, but it's a big shift for you to take the points lead, still looking for that first victory on the calendar. I'm sure that's balancing the positives and negatives of it. The big plus is that you have that championship lead, but you're still eyeing victory. When we go racing next week, it's going to be a track we've never gone to before in the Ignite Series in the Milwaukee Mile. Any thoughts about that venue before we head there to end the month of March?
Yeah, I just hope I survive. I don't think I think the last time I ran Milwaukee, it had to have been at least like 4 or 5 years ago, maybe. And it was in a truck race, I think. Was not a track that I enjoyed. Was definitely one that when I saw it on the schedule, I went, ugh. But I mean, it's the same for everybody next week, so we'll try and figure it out. Hopefully, I don't burn through whatever points cushion I have next week. But yeah, we'll, like I say all the time, just got to take it a race at a time, and just whatever comes at us, we'll deal with it as it goes.
Championship leader now with the 2nd place finish, Thomas Bressi, middle of the podium here in Kentucky. If you have anything else you'd like to add, of course, the floor is yours.
Yeah, as always, just shout out to the JT Motorsports guys for their effort. Got us a couple of top 10s as well tonight, which was great. Tyler, Casey, Gael, Justin, Matt, Cal, the whole group. I think we've all we're trending in the right direction, which is great. And we don't always have the results to show for it, unfortunately, just getting caught up in the shenanigans that can happen, but they've really kept their heads down so far this year, and it's great to see the progress so far. Obviously, everybody here at Integrity on the admin side, and that put the league together, and all our series partners and league partners that we have. You, of course, for doing the broadcasts, and everybody that tuned in. Hope you all had a good time tonight watching the show.
Thomas Bressi, 2nd on the day here in a close battle for the race victory, and now on top in the points chase. Thank you for your time.
Take care, buddy.
Bressi on the move. One more driver we'd love to hear from, Nicholas Ward. We've talked so many times about him getting his time in the sun, and it looks like tonight execution was there at the end. Critical point in the final moments of this race. The caution comes out at the right time, and Ward fends off Rob Ackley for a 3rd place finish. Best so far in his Integrity Ignite Series career.
Yeah, it was a good race. Ackley there was a great battle there, and I know I burnt my stuff up there at the end and was doing everything I could to keep him behind me. Lucked out with the strategy though, that's for sure.
And it looks like everything falling just in the right way for the team tonight. 18th place to start, so upper mid-pack. Definitely not one of the slowest in the bunch, but maybe that qualifying speed was more indicative of where you expected to be, but you made your way up and kept in the top 10 fight. Can you talk us through your strategy calls that led to that final run where the caution really changed it?
Yeah, I mean, we'll start with the qualifying. Didn't really show the speed that we really had in the car. Completely missed turn 1 and 2 on the 2nd lap. Actually hit the apron and just lost the lap. So that ended up resulting in a poor start. And from there, we had that, lap 10 caution, give or take, that kind of put us in a spot where some people took fuel. I figured, it didn't work out for me last week at Vegas in the Cup Series, so over at Octane, so I decided I was going to stay out and play it from there. And I saw Blake Cannon and Fife call out they were pitting, so I decided I'd pit with them around 50. And from there, I really didn't know what we were doing. I know Blake pitted somewhere around 85. Jacob pitted right around 90. And I almost reacted to Jacob pitting. I was going to pit the next lap, and something inside me said, just hold off for a few minutes, a couple laps, and see if you get that yellow. And turns out for us, we got that yellow and was able to put us in position. It was unfortunate we started 2nd. I think Stroll stayed out there to lead on that restart and kind of put us in a box, got us behind Bressi and Davis, I think it was, and I kept up with them for the first 10 laps, but pushing so hard, trying to stay with them and try and figure something out, trying to get around them, which obviously never happened, kind of burnt the stuff up, and got into a nice little battle there with Ackley there those last couple laps, and boy, there was everything I could to stay in front of him there at the end.
You talk about the tires, and it looked real close between you and Ackley. At times, you skated up the track, but it looks like you used the top side well to work things out. How important were the tires to your strategy today?
I mean, it was super important that first run, especially. Trying to save those tires as much as we could, because we were struggling with the right front. I think most of the field was struggling with that right front tire. So it was, keep that thing on there as best you could, and it worked out great that first run. That second run that we got up into the lead there in the cycle, I burned them up a little bit more, but that was the big thing tonight, was trying to protect that right front tire. And on a 20-lap sprint to the end, that's a little bit more difficult, and it's just not something that I could really do there at the end. But that tire saving tonight was probably the most important factor into the third place finish we had out here tonight.
Podium finish, great momentum now for the 97 team. We're heading to a track where we really don't know what to expect, the Milwaukee Mile. So I have to ask you, how are you feeling about heading down to Milwaukee for a track that this field has never seen?
I think Milwaukee will be an interesting challenge. I think people that are good at like Gateway and stuff will probably fare pretty well there. You said it's good forward momentum, which we've been working on since the start of the season. Had a rough start and been slowly plucking away at getting towards the front of these fields, and I think we're in the right direction. I think next week we'd be happy with probably a top 10. It's not a great track for us, or not a great track for me. The big thing will be there. We'll be try and stay out of the mayhem if there's any there, and which we've been really lucky with not having a lot of that. So just plug forward, keep head down, look for more top 10s, top 5s, and I think Milwaukee should be pretty low line dominant. So we'll see how that goes.
Nicholas Ward, third place on the day, career best finish now in the Integrity Ignite Series. If you have anything else you'd like to add, of course, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I just want to thank Jacob and all the admins, Boomer, everybody else over here for putting this all together. Obviously, Sim Motion and Next Level Racing for sponsoring this and letting us come out here and run, and everything that they do for us. And just thank you for these broadcasts. And hopefully, I know it's been a long time and it hadn't been since you've been broadcasting, but hopefully we can end up back in victory lane here with this Xfinity Ignite series we have over here. It's been probably 4 or 5 years, so that's what we're looking forward to. Thank you.
One step closer to that goal of victory. Third place tonight for Nicholas Ward. I believe it is the best finish we've seen for you in this modern era, and an upward trend with a podium finish tonight. Thank you for your time. With Nicholas Ward on the way, unfortunately, yes, we did not hear from your winner in Jared Davis. He's been quite hard to find as of late, but he does it again on the racetrack, and everyone knows what it's like to look at his rear-view mirror. Nicholas Ward in third, Thomas Bressie second, and Jared Davis, your race winner in the number 19. Davis gets the job done, of course, with his first career Ignite Series win. With that said, a night of exciting racing comes to an amazing close as the Kentucky Speedway is now another chapter in the past for 2025. Your new points leader is Thomas Bressie as we head to race 7 of the regular season. It's going to be the Milwaukee Mile in West Allis, Wisconsin. Join us next week, same time, same place, live on FTN for exclusive coverage of the Milwaukee Mile and the Integrity Ignite Series. We'd love to see you there. Tomorrow night, we race at the Homestead Miami Speedway with the Integrity Octane Series. That's going to be another great race as well. We hope you stop by. Tune in with us on FTN Broadcasting for all coverage of the Integrity Racing League. Here from the Kentucky Speedway, I've been your host, David Kreutz, commentating and producing. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you for tuning in tonight to coverage of the Integrity Ignite Series. Congratulations to Jared Davis on his first career victory from the Kentucky Speedway. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you have a fantastic night.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Boundless makes its presence felt. It will not be ignored. We're helping turn ideas into reality with a wealth of building products that take every architectural style to the next level. This is what it's like to imagine, build, and transform anything we want into exactly what we seek. This is what it means to be boundless.
This message is brought to you by the rebrand of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This publication may not be reposted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. NASCAR Camping World Ford F-150. NASCAR Xfinity Ford Mustang. NASCAR Cup Series Next-Gen Ford Mustang. Arca Menards. This has been the publication of the redesign and rebranding of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This message may not be reposted, republicated, or rebroadcasted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. Thank you, and thanks for your time.